16th, 11-2, 1-0 in conference against LSU. After starting 12-0, suffered their first loss of the year on the road at Auburn, a very good team. Top teams in the SEC are going to be tremendous battles. We got one here tonight. And alongside Jay Billis, I'm Carl Ravitch. Oscar Tshiebwe, transferred from West Virginia, told his guys, I'm going to average 20 rebounds a game. He's almost doing that.
Yeah, he only averaged 9 at West Virginia, but he's averaging over 15 rebounds per game this year. And Ravi, the way to describe Oscar Tshiebwe is relentless. He's had 4 20-rebound games. He had 28 rebounds, a Rep Arena record against Western Kentucky. Out-rebounded the entire Hilltopper squad. A great rim runner after he outlets it. He gets down the floor quickly, an excellent finisher. Has improved that mid-range shot. He's a big-time player, but he's not alone. Xavier Wheeler, who transferred in from Georgia, is the speed of this team. Those two together are very difficult to deal with.
No doubt, exclusive company. Tim Duncan, Blake Griffin, Kenny Fareed. Go back to John Bryant, if you will, in 08-09, a company that Tshiebwe is keeping. Meantime, LSU putting up a name for itself on the defensive end.
Well, LSU comes after you defensively. They average about 20 turnovers per game forced. If you turn it over in a live ball turnover situation, they take it the other way and score off their defense. Kentucky has to take care of the ball, or LSU is going to be laying it in or dunking it all night. They are relentless on defense as well.
What a night it is for LSU Tiger fans. At least it has the potential to be so, given that the football team will play in the Tax Act Texas Bowl as soon as we are done. They'll dedicate the court to Dale Brown. He's here. We'll hear from him at halftime. And they are really tough at home. They are looking for their 12th straight victory here. So we are set to tip with Oscar Tshiebwe jumping center against a guy he's giving up a few inches to, who will jump for LSU, and that is the 6', 11-inch center. His name is Efton Reed. Joe Lindsey asking everybody to stand down and now jump up, and it's Kentucky and Xavier Wheeler that have the ball first. Kentucky starters, 13 of 14 games, 10-2. As you take a look at their starting 5, and Wheeler takes it all the way on the baseline. That guy is a special player. Ty Washington knocks down the first 3 of the game.
And that's 3 games in a row, Carl Ravitch, that Ty Washington has knocked down his first 3, and that was because of the penetration of Xavier Wheeler, who would not give the ball up even though there was a switch.
Big name in the starting 5 for LSU. Brandon Murray wears number 0. He's back. Reed had that ball knocked away, and it's on the floor, and here comes a lay-in for Reed.
First to the floor, usually gets the ball. That was Brandon Murray. And LSU off to a good start, essentially scoring off hustle. Now they're going to bring full court pressure, could bring a trap.
So Wheeler and Brooks get it across midcourt, and now they'll set up. Murray is the guy that was absent in the Auburn game. Will Wade said he is our defensive middle linebacker, if you will. He'll call the defense. He wears 0 again. Tshiebwe from the foul line. That's off. Darius Day's rebound. He's the senior. Pinson, the transfer from Missouri, will push.
And Xavier Wheeler does a really good job of staying with him. And he's a pest defensively because he can get down and get underneath you. Good pass.
Another look to Reed. Tshiebwe muscles him. Reed no good, coming off a game in which he scored 2, grabbed 2 rebounds, and had 4 fouls against Auburn. Wheeler, quick shot, and Kentucky will do that. They don't waste a lot of time on the offensive end.
No, 37% of their points come in the first 9 seconds of the shot clock. They get the ball up court quickly, whether by the dribble or the pass.
Pinson penetration, that shot is off. Neither LSU or Kentucky terrific from the outside. In fact, Kentucky doesn't take a lot of threes. Keon Brooks will launch one. That's off. And a cold start for both teams from the outside.
Well, that's probably not the shot that John Calipari wanted out of Keon Brooks, but he has improved his shooting, and his mid-range game is much better than last year.
There's Murray. He finds the bottom of the net.
He's just a stabilizer out on the floor for LSU, always in the right spot defensively.
Look out, Tshiebwe, denied by the rim, had a dunk, and he couldn't get it over. Murray's just a freshman out of Maryland who's averaging 12 a game.
Darius Days needs to have a good game in this one. He has not played as well against Power 5 schools this year.
Reed and Pinson play catch with it. Now working on Shibwe. And a tough shot. Good defense by Shibwe to force him away from the basket.
Wouldn't let him get that position down on the block. Just getting that 3 feet of space really helpful for Oscar Shibwe. Makes it more difficult for Reed to finish that play. LSU getting off to a good start with Brandon Murray knocking that perimeter shot down. And this is not a great perimeter shooting team. That Oscar Shibwe just going away from the basket a little bit. You're not going to see him miss many of those.
Jacob Toppin into the game with the ball, wearing 0 for Kentucky. Keon Brooks on the bench. Kellen Grady's the three-point threat. LSU is very aware of him. You see Days come out to make sure he doesn't get an open shot.
Well, and LSU switches everything, so Kentucky's going to have to get some slips. They're going to have to screen their own man at times.
Yeah, that's Grady. He forced one up there as the shot clock expired.
Really one of the ways that Kentucky is going to be able to combat some of this switching is by bringing a cutter off and then looking directly into the post for a duck in.
Murray again. That's a little short. Wheeler will try to run.
He is so fast with the ball.
Shibwe followed him, and who'd that go out of bounds off of? One official looks to the other and says we're going the other way. LSU 2 of 6. Kentucky 1 of 6 from the floor. John Calipari in his 13th season. Far more veteran team. I mean, he's got some years on this roster he doesn't usually have.
Yeah, they average 21 years old. This is the first time Calipari's not had to teach his guys how to shave. Xavier Wheeler down.
Yeah, he ran into a screen, and he's not getting up very quickly. And the three-pointer from Pinson went down.
And nobody called out that screen. And Xavier Wheeler needs the screener's defender to be there to call it.
Calipari is suggesting that the screener leaned his shoulder in. Watch Efton Reed.
See, Shibwe's got to be up there to call that screen out. And really, if you can't call it out, one of the things you have to do is lay out the ball handler and let him know that you can't get away with that.
So Xavier Wheeler, who is a key component to this team, the transfer from Georgia, stays down on the court, is attended to by a trainer. Davion Mintz, of course, got a lot of minutes at point guard last year for Kentucky. And he is already checked in as they continue to check on Xavier Wheeler, the
Ravi, there was nothing wrong with this screen. The only thing that was wrong was that Shibwe wasn't up there to call it out and let Wheeler know it was coming. Because you're looking blind guarding the ball, you have to have communication to know where the screen is.
Xavier Wheeler sitting about 8 feet from where we sit. He's got his eyes closed. He's nodding his head to the trainer. Whether it was a shoulder or now that he's feeling it in his head, maybe a little dizzy, he's now opened his eyes. We can tell he's rocked pretty good by a big Efton Reed, and Reed is almost 7-footer.
And the one thing you worry about, you just hope there's not any issue with a concussion.
Right.
If he's not able to come back out, that is a big loss for Kentucky because of his tremendous speed with the ball.
Yep.
He's third in the nation in assists, leading the Southeastern Conference, 7.8 assists per game. And he had a triple-double against LSU last year when he was playing for Tom Crean at Georgia, the first triple-double in Georgia history.
He's certainly shaky as he walks off with the assistance of a trainer. They have amongst Wheeler and Shibwe the top rebounder in the country and the number 3 assist guy in the country. It's a tough watch to watch Wheeler walk off the court so gingerly.
Well, you hope he's okay. That's a scary scene. But for Kentucky right now, with Wheeler being taken into the locker room, that means Ty Washington is going to take over primary ball handling responsibility. And Davion Mintz, who has point guard skills and was the leading scorer and assist man for Kentucky last year, will have to share in those ball handling duties.
So Wheeler out of the game at the 16:07 mark of the first half. 8-3 LSU. And now the pressure of LSU without Wheeler, who's such a good ball handler, may play an even bigger role in this game.
Well, and you know LSU is going to try to go after Washington at every opportunity to make him handle the ball.
Toppin. That ball is still alive and kept by Washington with 8 on the shot clock. Mintz, the runner. No good, and Reed will clear.
LSU not shy running when they have the ball either.
Well, and now the other point guard is a little shaken up. That Xavier Pinson. So Wheeler out of the game for Kentucky, and now Pinson down on the ground. We'll see what happened to him when we come back. Just underway, a Super Tuesday, and already some banged up players between LSU and Kentucky. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Jay Billis, Carl Ravitch, the Pete Maravich Assembly Center here on the campus of LSU. Oscar Tshiebwe in the middle. Watch number 1, Xavier Pinson right there, left side of your screen. Take a Tshiebwe arm to the face. They didn't even look at it. Pinson is okay, though not on the floor, as LSU brings in a couple of substitutions. Milwaukee Wilkinson is into the game, and so is Eric Gaines, who will handle the basketball. Severe Wheeler out of the game, 16:07 after running into an Efton Reed screen. Also into the game, Tari Eason. Darius Days, that traditional high arcing 3, no good. And Wheeler escapes. He's got Tshiebwe with him. He throws it up. That's great defense. Getting back is the middle linebacker, if you will, Brandon Murray, to break it all up.
Well, that's why Brandon Murray is so valuable to this LSU team. He's tough, he's gritty, always seems to be in the right position. There's the rim run by Oscar Tshiebwe, and Murray there just to break it up. And making up for Xavier Wheeler, if he's unable to come back, is not going to be just on Ty Washington. All 5 guys on the floor are going to have to do a better job handling and making decisions.
Tshiebwe double team, step through, 1 offensive rebound, still triple teamed, and he gets it to go. He now got a couple of rebounds here early in this one, and it's 8-5.
That's a Moses Malone type deal.
Right.
You get a score and a rebound, but the big key was getting through that double team. Nice play by Gaines. Well, he's got a lot of game.
He came out like a house of fire, hit 2 of 3 3-point field goals in his second game, but since had made just 2 of 25 shots.
Well, he's really good, Gaines, is at getting downhill, and he gets to the free throw line. He shot 50 free throws this year. That's tied for the lead for LSU.
They're going to get Wilkinson reaching on Keon Brooks.
Oscar Tshiebwe is able to split this double team. He gets right between Wilkinson and Days. Missed the initial one, but he's so good with that second jump and then going through the contact to finish that play. And then that's just getting downhill, the nice little up and under move. And up and under is not going underneath the basket, as some people say. That is a term of art in the game. That was an up and under move.
Mintz looking for Tshiebwe and didn't have him with 10 on the shot clock.
And so far, Kentucky's had a hard time figuring out the switching that LSU is doing.
Keon Brooks went up and would get fouled as he tried to throw that one down.
And that is the way.
The call on Alex Fudge, who's into the game.
But that's the way you take the ball to the basket. Take it to dunk and make them foul you. And Keon Brooks averages about 11 points per game. He's not a passer, but when he gets it to the rim, that's the way he needs to take it up.
Free throw is good. Also into the game now, Bryce Hopkins. He'll take out Davion Mintz. It's a big team right now for Kentucky, given the players that are on the floor. Will Wade will go about 8 or 9 deep. And in fact, Justice Williams, number 11, comes into the game. He takes Brandon Murray out. Williams played because Murray was hurt last game. That was a first appearance for Williams all season.
His first game as an LSU player is on the road at Auburn. It's a tough place to play. This is an unbelievable league. The Southeastern Conference is the best league in the country in my estimation. And you better win your home games because your road games are going to be a bear.
Gaines Eason down low, and he's triple teamed, and he's going to get fouled. Boy, Shibwe nearly got him in a headlock. And they do get the foul against Oscar Shibwe.
That's the second time that LSU has run that particular action. A little ball screen and roll on an open side. At first they did it with Efton Reed, that time Tari Eason, and both Reed and Eason caught the ball, made good catches, but I think they need to go up right away. You let the defense recover, and it's going to be a much tougher opportunity to score.
Eason's free throw is good. A high average guy at 15 a game. An ACC college basketball matinee for you. Caleb Love, Armando Baycott, North Carolina. They host Jaden Gardner in Virginia at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. Saturday showcase starts at 1 Eastern on the ESPN on the app, one tap, one free throw. And they're going to give the ball to LSU. Calipari's looking for some help from Joe Lindsay, not getting it. And the LSU crowd is letting Calipari know, we know what happened. It looked like it did go off LSU. Baseline jumper, good. LSU up 13-7. Justice Williams for his two.
So far, Kentucky has been made to be a half-court team. They haven't had many transition opportunities, and that's what LSU wants to make them do. You want to turn them over, but if you can't do it in the full court, make them into a half-court team where they have to play 5-on-5 and deal with your switching. Will Wade and his staff have done a really good job of putting together a great pass. It's just an excellent duck in and a great angle by Oscar Shibwe in the post. But Will Wade and his staff done a really good job of putting together a long and athletic team. Their length is so difficult to deal with, and because they're so athletic, they can switch 1 through 5 without great concern. You can have a big guy and a point guard, you know you'll be switching again soon.
Gaines goes baseline, and a kick and a near trap opportunity for Kentucky. They don't do it with 3 on the shot clock. Eason, and they're going to get an offensive foul against LSU.
I think this is where Kentucky can have some impact, is when they duck in from the weak side. A great duck in to get in front of Fudge by Oscar Shibwe, and he just muscled him to the basket. That was a great play by Shibwe to get that position.
Washington breaks the trap. Hopkins dribble right into a turnover.
Well, once you break the trap, you still have to have the ball in the hands of the right guy, and Hopkins is not the one to make that play for Kentucky.
Shibwe on top, a mismatch. Gaines, kick, Fudge. There's the flush on the baseline. And running the other way is Kellen Grady. Quickly, Kentucky tries to counter, but LSU gets back.
What a great shot fake by Alex Fudge.
Hopkins penetrates again. Shibwe, it's a bad pass, and it's a turnover for Kentucky. And here comes the turnover the other way. Grady 3, that's off. Brooks stuck up in the air. Hopkins offensive foul. Kentucky looks a little flustered, some of the big guys, when they get the ball and make it happen, and it's not happening inside early.
Well, LSU has done this with defense, then off the penetration, drawing 3 Kentucky Wildcats. A great shot fake, and Keon Brooks could not get around Reed. Great start for the LSU Tigers.
Now has the court named after him. Took the 81 and 86 teams to the Final Four. 448 wins, 4 SEC championships. You see some of the other numbers. That 86 team was 14-0, and then they had a chickenpox outbreak. So they had to go on the road a lot. They were an 11 seed and survived Purdue and Memphis and Georgia Tech and Kentucky. They played them 4 times that year. So Dale Brown in the building. He'll speak to the crowd here at halftime. Talk about guys that go into football schools and help make them basketball schools. He did that here.
Well, just not only a great coach, but a great man. And Dale Brown, the all-time winningest coach here at LSU. With that 81-86 team, 2 great teams. And then he coached Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Shaquille O'Neal, Stanley Roberts, and great teams here.
Shaquille O'Neal's son is on this team. Sharif O'Neal has been dealing with an injury. He's actually available. Sheboy picks it, and here we go. And he will flush it again. He's had a couple of dunks here early. And Sheboy's keeping him in at 15-11.
Those are the kind of mistakes that absolutely kill you. Out of bounds underneath, you give up a layup on the other end.
Sheboy called for the foul.
LSU couldn't inbound it, trying to just throw it long. But Sheboy alertly knocks it toward the other end and takes it in for the easy dunk. Those are the kind of plays that drive coaches crazy. You work on out of bounds underneath, and not only do you not get a shot, you give up a layup on the other end.
Two big developments here, Jay, early. Severe Wheeler went out of the game at the 16:07 mark. Kentucky has said that he is questionable to return, and now Oscar Sheboy goes to the bench with 2 fouls.
Yeah, Sheboy trying to take a charge, just didn't get there in time. But the blow Kentucky has suffered having Severe Wheeler out of the game, whether he's able to return or not, that's a lot of minutes with him off the floor. And your floor general, your assist leader, the guy who does the primary handling, now all of a sudden you have to have multiple handlers that have to go against this great LSU pressure.
Lance Ware is into the game for Sheboy. And Washington breaks the press, and he will throw up a floater, and maybe got caught up in the air. Is this going to be an alley-oop or a shot? Ended up getting nothing.
He could have taken it in to dunk it. Nobody could have gotten in his way. They might have challenged it at the end. But he stopped for that floater and just short-armed it.
Xavier Pinson back into the game. So is Murray for LSU. Days, Fudge, and Reed on the floor as well. And Pinson lost that ball off his foot. Turnover for LSU.
With LSU's pressure, it takes time off the clock. Even if you survive the pressure, get it across half court, it takes time off the clock. That's less time they have to guard you in the half court. The question is, what is Kentucky going to do to combat the switching that LSU does? You're going to have to cut off it at times. You have to screen your own man.
A lot of contact. And
do they not have a call?
They haven't made a call. The officials are looking at each other, and there's a late block call.
And I don't know why they didn't know right away. And that's a block, period. 90% of all charge calls are blocks anyway. But you think when you blow the whistle, you'd know what you're calling. You don't have to ask for help.
In that case, Mike Nance and Chuck Jones both looked at each other, and now Joe Lindsay has got the headset on, looking at the monitor. You mentioned the SEC and how hard the schedule can be. How about LSU start Kentucky, Tennessee, at Florida, Arkansas, at Alabama, at Tennessee?
Well, what could you put up that would be easy?
I mean, you could stumble into like Kentucky's schedule, where you have you do have the bottom of the conference. I mean, to me, isn't there a difference, the top 6 versus the bottom?
Of course, yeah. There's always a difference in the top 6, but you know, there really isn't much of a bottom this year. There are a couple teams you say, okay, it's not Missouri and Georgia are not having great years, but outside of that, you're going to be challenged in every game in this league. The question is whether you're playing at home or you're playing on the road.
But with the exception of Auburn, they're playing all the top 6 to start. It gets a little easier for them in February. Auburn is a terrific team, and LSU found that out, especially with that incredible home court advantage they have. Tennessee nearly went into Alabama and beat them without Kennedy Chandler and John Fulkerson.
The SEC has 7 teams in the net top 50. I mean, that's the best in the country.
Kentucky's gone to the free throw line tonight. That's not something that they have done very much this year.
Yeah, usually the free throw line is a staple for Kentucky, but this year they're not the same kind of driving team, even though they run some of the same stuff with dribble drive motion, and you know, they run a lot of action out of a floppy set to try to get shots for Kellen Grady, and he needs to be more aggressive looking for his shot.
Tough pass, and that's Ware playing good defense. They get into the hands of Mintz. And that's going to be a foul on Days. How much of a role will home games play? I think you alluded to it, but you got a lot of young kids who haven't even been in a road environment. How about getting wins at home and subsequently if you can get wins on the road?
Ultra important to win at home. You have to hold serve at home. When you have so many difficult road games in this conference, it's going to be important to win your home games. You know, Kentucky, without Xavier Wheeler in the lineup, they've been passing ahead. So it's not just one guy having to break this pressure.
Mintz knocks down the first. Now that 66-62 loss, we show that graphic road game at Notre Dame, in some ways seemed to be a wake-up call, or at least after that, Kentucky's offense found a different gear. Did they do anything differently?
Well, they're pushing the ball. I mean, they allowed Notre Dame to slow them down and make it a half-court game, and all credit to Notre Dame. Look, it's easier to slow a game down than it is to speed one up. But there was no reason for Kentucky to launch up so many threes, and they went 2 of 19 from 3 in that ball game instead of getting the ball inside to Wheeler, or excuse me, to Shibwe. And they just did not have a focused attack on the offensive end. And Notre Dame they must have played 12 feet off Xavier Wheeler the whole game. And most teams are going to do that. They're going to give him that space. But the last 4 games, he's been taking up that space and really driving it more. But it is a real challenge without Wheeler on the floor.
Washington Grady knocks that one to the front of the rim, and it's a clear by LSU and Murray. You can tell the role that Murray is playing in this game. Stabilizer for LSU.
And that shot by Kellen Grady should never happen for LSU. He's a no closeout player. You got to be with him all the time.
That's a foul too. Jacob Toppin went up and Murray tried to contest at the rim, and that didn't work. Jacob Toppin goes to the free throw line with a chance to tie it. I didn't think Murray was going to challenge him.
Well, Jacob Toppin is the best athlete on this team, and that's saying something. And you know, LSU's turned it over a few times and allowed Kentucky to get runouts. And these are easy finishes, and Brandon Murray compounds the mistake by fouling him to give him an opportunity for 3. But Toppin, who is the younger brother of Obi Toppin, played at Dayton and then now with the New York Knicks. He is just a spectacular run and jump athlete.
16-16. Speaking of athletes, Damian Collins now into the game, number 4 for Kentucky. He's another one of those freakish athletes. He's got a little, if you remember Isaiah Jackson, little Isaiah Jackson in him.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Gaines, blow by, blocked that time by Ware, who's played some big minutes with Shibwe in foul trouble.
Boy, a nice rebound by Kellen Grady.
Ware, Wilkinson got up in the air, but before he came down on top of him, Ware shuffled his feet, and that's a travel.
Well, Kentucky with really a makeshift lineup since Wheeler went out. They've done a good job fighting back in this game.
Again, if you're just flipping on, Xavier Wheeler, the starting point guard, one of the leading assist men in the nation, ran into an Efton Reed screen at the 16:07 mark of this game and has not been seen since. He was down on the ground for several minutes after this. And it was right there. It appeared to be his left shoulder and then his head and neck.
That was a scary sight.
Yep.
Because he needed help to leave the floor. And you hope that young man's going to be okay, not just for tonight, but long term. And that's one of those things. There was nothing wrong with that screen. Efton Reed said a legal, good screen. The problem was Oscar Shibwe was not there to call out the screen to his teammates, so he knew it was coming. So he just ran into that without having any idea it was there.
LSU is a physical defense, and we've seen that already tonight. And the Pete Maravich, the PMAC Assembly Center is full. Dale Brown Court unveiled tonight. He'll speak at the half. And of course, whenever Kentucky's in town at LSU, they fill the place. Ty Washington hesitates and gets it to go.
Well, he is such a shot maker. That little floater, I mean, I know he short-armed that one in transition, but he's got a lot of game and plays really hard on the defensive end. He's got a mature game for a freshman.
He's got 5. Shibwe with 6 on the bench to lead the way for Kentucky.
Good contest by Kellen Grady. not allowing that reversal pass.
Tari Eason kicks. How about the 6'11" Reed knocking down a three?
Well, Reed has the green light from out there. He shoots 37% from three. That's his 4th three on the year.
Alley-oop. That worked out well. Great pass from Washington to Ware.
Well, you have to stay with your man on the baseline. When there's that penetration, if you help up or you're above your man, that is just going to be lobbed up. And now Kentucky is trying to make LSU go through their chest. If they want to shoot over, fine, but they have to go through you.
Tari Eason banks one in, the transfer from Cincinnati. And again, Kentucky tries to take advantage of that bucket by running. Mintz comes up short. Ware's going to get called for the foul.
Ty Washington, just a freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. He can handle it, he can drive it, an excellent shooter, and plays on both ends of the floor.
Zubin, thank you. 39 wins the last 3 years, the most in the SEC. LSU. And tonight, 21-20 against Kentucky. Jay Billis, Carl Ravitch back here, guys, in the studio. About 7 minutes from now, we'll get you the halftime report. Again, no Sheboy on the floor, 2 fouls. Severe Wheeler hurt at the 16-minute mark. We haven't seen him even return to the bench yet. And Gaines underneath, goes with the left. That may have been deflected by Collins underneath.
Well, Efton Reed really worked hard to post up against Lance Ware to get that ball. That's a play that Gaines has to finish. And LSU's got to stop turning the ball over. They've coughed it up 8 times in this game. That's led to 9 points for Kentucky. Now here's a switch. Washington guarded by Reed.
Into Ware. He's got 3 guys around him. That's going to be a turnover, 3rd for Kentucky. Dante Allen, number 11, into the game for Kentucky, as well as Cal goes deep to his bench. Days range a 3 that was halfway down, and there's a Reed foul, and he and Ware get tangled up.
Darius Days, it's kind of hard to figure out against Power 5 teams this year. He's 15 of 52 coming into this game, 29% from the field. And he is such a good player, but he has struggled against Power 5 teams to really put points on the board to the level of his talent.
That's the 2nd foul on Reed. And Milani Wilkinson will come in for him. Bit of a sluggish start, Jay. No team's been able to run. They like to do that. There have been a bunch of dunks. Sheboy had a couple early. Kentucky slammed it 5 times, but the half-court offense, is that a challenge for LSU?
It's a challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge for LSU because they're not a great perimeter shooting team. So you can lay off and go under some screening action. And that's Kentucky's plan, really, is to make them go through you, to make them score through your chest. But for Kentucky, because LSU does such a great job converging to the ball, they don't go just to guard you. They go to steal the ball. You've got to make quick moves and strong moves around the basket. I mean, Lance Ware, when he got that ball the last time, he had 3 guys around him. They just took it away from him.
Ware missed the 2 free throws badly, and here's Days. We'll do it again. That's off to the left. So Darius Days cold from the outside, and he is frustrated. The senior, who's got 55 double-figure games under his belt. Saturday afternoon, the SEC Network, a good day of men's college basketball. Number 15, Alabama, takes on Missouri. They're in Columbia, 3:30 Eastern. Number 16, Kentucky, will host Georgia, the Fighting Tom Creans in Rupp. You can always watch these live on the ESPN app from anywhere. 1 app and 1 tap. Grady, 3. That's too strong. He's been off tonight, and we're going to get a foul on Kentucky. Dante Allen.
For Kellen Grady, Ravi, when he can catch and shoot, that's when he's at his best. He's become a much quicker shooter. His release is much faster now. He was talking to him this morning, and he had mentioned something about he's keeping his head still, not rocking it back like he used to when he was at Davidson. He scored over 2,000 points at Davidson. The guy can score. But you make him put it on the deck, he's a little bit less effective.
Day went right back to Darius Days, and the senior buried it.
He caught that, not only ready to shoot, he caught it to shoot it. Was down in a stance, went right up with it. A great rhythm 3.
LSU by 4, 5.5 to go in the first half. Two top 25 teams. LSU doesn't want to go 0-2 to start conference play. Grady to his right. That's off. He's 0 for 5. And a good box out underneath that sent Ware to the ground, so they got a 5-on-4.
And Pinson really battled Ware down low when he switched off on him.
Pinson grabbed by Ware. He didn't have the ball. He had an arm. Calipari grabbed by Bruiser Flint and the assistants to make sure he didn't get a technical foul, because he was running warm when that whistle blew on that Ware foul. Grady goes to the bench.
Caught Brooks grabbing the jersey of Tari Eason. The typical SEC fist fight. Tari Eason, the leading scorer in points per game. Darius Days had one more point. Eason missed a game with an injury, but transferred in from Cincinnati. Comes off the bench. I don't know who the best sixth man in America is, but if he's better than Tari Eason coming off the bench, I don't know who he is. He's an outstanding player that causes a lot of problems for opposing teams from the offensive end.
Yeah, we talked to Will Wade about that. And to have somebody who's comfortable doing it, willing to do it, is a nice thing for a coach, because a lot of guys have people on the phone saying, why aren't you starting?
Well, they don't even need people on the phone. They ask the coach themselves, why aren't I starting?
The luxury of having somebody who's not asking that question all the time.
But Will Wade was saying one of the reasons he wants to do that is just to avoid Eason picking up an early foul.
Yep.
He comes into the game after the referees have gotten used to it a little bit.
Reed, big block there, and the ball turned over. Grady has it. And Washington will throw it high over the 6'11 Reed and miss it. Ragged offense. Grady will fire again. That's way off. Toppin the rebound, and they lace it up and lace it in. Kentucky's made a living on the offensive glass early this season. They're doing it again tonight.
Boy, Toppin has been really good in this game with his athleticism and activity. He's kind of limping down the other end after that bucket, like he was cramping up a little bit.
Yeah,
you might want to just go after him.
5 offensive rebounds for Kentucky. That's a bad shot. Wilkinson, no good. And Ware in traffic had it. And then they get Reed. That may be the third on Efton Reed.
Yeah, those are plays that LSU needs to finish. Kentucky came over to block the shot. That opened up the offensive glass, but LSU could not convert.
Check that. That's the number 2 foul on Reed, not his third.
But it sends Kentucky to the free throw line where they don't have to go against this LSU defense. The only good news for LSU is Lance Ware shooting. He's not a great free throw shooter.
They are 5 of 9 from the free throw line. The last time he missed the entire rim with his first shot. And the second one hit the backboard hard. This one hits the back of the rim. So there's been improvement. This one should go through.
Well, he's worked really hard in this game at both ends of the floor. And Lance Ware can really help this team with the way he defends, rebounds, and he can really run the floor.
Physical presence, misses another one, so he's 0 for 4 from the free throw line. But with Shibwe's fouls, he's played a big role tonight. We're at the 4-minute mark. Williams, the runner, that's no good. And nobody there on the offensive glass.
Thought they might get something off that initial pick and pop action off that double high screen. But Kentucky defended it pretty well.
Jacob Toppin knocks that down, and Toppin's having a good game for Kentucky in the first half. He's got 5, now 7.
Well, Toppin is versatile. He can switch 1 through 4. Good defensive rebounder. Will Wade was concerned about a guy like Jacob Toppin. They're so worried about Sheboy, who's out of the game with 2 fouls.
Tari Eason missed. Kellen Grady one-on-one with Days. He'll drop it off, and Toppin's got 9. Nice play by Grady. And the flush brings Kentucky right back into it to tie it at 26.
Great awareness by Kellen Grady to get the ball to the middle of the floor and just pass it back to Toppin. It's been in transition where Kentucky has excelled, forcing turnovers, passing ahead, and getting easy baskets against LSU.
The marketing department says let's go Sox to declare who's going to win the championship. Alabama sock, and this is the Georgia sock. And the Alabama sock says I've won 4 in a row, and the last 7. See you later. Alabama will win. I'm a lot more comfortable talking about white and red Sox, but I'm going to go here. And
yeah, I chose the tie. I mean, I respect Kirby Smart in Georgia. I'm afraid of Nick Saban.
Yes.
So I'm going with Alabama.
And you'll see throughout the course of this week, the basketball experts will dive into the football world.
Well, it's really not that hard to be a football expert. All you have to do is say,
Alabama.
You got to establish the run. And
That is establishing the run. Fudge on the back end of the alley-oop.
I mean, that's really what LSU needs, is to get some points in transition.
Yep.
I know John Calipari disappointed to give that up on a 94-foot out-of-bounds play.
Kentucky 7-2 on the fast break points.
And a lot of that have come off of LSU turnovers.
Big reverse. How about the night Jacob Toppin is having? He's got 11.
He has been a difference maker in this game. His athleticism and energy have really impacted Kentucky's performance in this one without Xavier Wheeler in the game since the first couple of minutes when he got his bell rung on that screen.
And Sheboy's playing with 2 fouls and hasn't been in a while. Days force up a 3 ahead of the field, and Days gets back to break up the outlet to Collins.
Jacob Toppin just getting that baseline drive and just an acrobatic finish getting to the other side of the basket. Got a 42-inch vertical, won the dunk contest on this really athletic Kentucky team and won it going away.
Mintz corner 3, that's too short. Kentucky really struggling from the outside. There is an alley-oop opportunity. Pinson can't convert it.
And how many opportunities has LSU had at the rim? None easier than that one. Just couldn't convert it.
Of all the players that play consistently for LSU, I would believe that Xavier Pinson has the fewest dunks. Murray 3. That's good. He's got a couple of those tonight. And LSU at the minute 45 mark increases their lead to 3.
Best thing about that shot was there was zero hesitation.
Yeah, Grady didn't hesitate either, and Kellen Grady, a nightmare from the field so far. He's 0 for 7. Easy layup, no good, followed by Fudge. He's fouled by Ty Washington.
Well, Eason did a really nice job of avoiding the contact so he didn't pick up the charge. And then Fudge just came in from the right side along the baseline. There was nobody there to box him out because everybody was drawn to the Eason drive.
It felt like Kellen Grady, who came into this game having hit 23 of his last 31 three-point field goal attempts, had really found his stroke. He's 0 for 6 from three-point land and 0 for 7 in the game tonight. And he'll be replaced by Dante Allen.
Those last 4 games, Kellen Grady was 20 of 31 from 3. And he's 5th in the nation, shooting right at 50% from the three-point line. But a good number of the shots he's taken tonight, one has been he's had to put the ball on the floor and then pull up. But he's been challenged and had to pull that trigger quickly.
32-28, 90 seconds to go. Sheboy out with 2 fouls. Xavier Wheeler out with an injury since the 16-minute mark in the first half. And it's still a tight one, 32-28.
Yeah, with a makeshift lineup, Kentucky's stayed right with LSU.
Boy, Ty Washington off to the right and a 3.
tough for Washington to have to handle the ball and look for his own offense.
Plenty of time on the shot clock, 15. Pinson, there was some contact, no foul called. Washington creates some contact and then never got it off. Fudge may have deflected it. LSU likes this pace, and Eason will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, a little surprised the foul wasn't called when Pinson took the ball to the basket, but there was no doubt about that one. Allen got Eason on the arm as he was going up for that layup.
Well, how do you feel if you're Kentucky? You're down 4, 40 seconds to go. Your big man hasn't played much with the 2 fouls, and your point guard's been gone. You're going to get the big guy back. You know that.
Yeah, you're unlikely. Seems unlikely to get Xavier Wheeler back, but John Calipari just taking a risk, not wanting to put Shibwe back in the game to pick up his third so that he can go full bore in the second half. So I think Kentucky has to feel pretty good. His last 42 seconds is going to be important to try to get a score and a stop.
Shibwe, 6 points, 3 rebounds when he went to the bench. But a 10-second differential between shot clock and game clock. So LSU, if they get the rebound, will have a chance to go the other way on a make or miss.
There's that floppy set that Kentucky runs, but because LSU can switch, tough to get Kellen Grady open.
Mintz lost it, and here we go the other way with Pinson. He will dunk that one. And back the other way with 7 on the shot clock. Washington, Mintz launches a 3. That's off the mark. Still have time. Toppin, have yourself a half. At the buzzer, knocks it in. And he will end the first half with 13. And Will Wade is storming mad at his team for not defending Jacob Toppin.
Yeah, he felt like they quit on the play and not going after the rebound, and Toppin was able to take advantage of it. Watch after this shot goes. Nobody really went after the ball. Fudge was looking to block out instead of pursuing that ball, and Kentucky, a much-needed basket after that dunk by Pinson to go into halftime.
Score at the half, LSU 35 and Kentucky 30 after the Toppin jump shot. But LSU is turning a lot of those turnovers into points. Dale Brown will have this court dedicated in his honor during the half, and we'll see you for the second half after this. Welcome back to Super Tuesday. It's presented by Progressive. 2 more points for Jacob Toppin as the first half ended. So it's 35-30 LSU with the lead. Biggest story of the first half was the injury to Xavier Wheeler. He ran into a Efton Reed screen and didn't get up for a few minutes after that. Walked off with the assistance of a trainer. And he was listed as questionable, but he has not come back out for the second half. He left with 16:07 to go. And he has not had any impact at all with no points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. He is the straw that stirs the whole thing for him. And yet they hang around in this one despite no Wheeler and Oscar Shibwe in foul trouble.
Yeah, Kentucky battled to make it a 5-point game, but you can't overstate the importance of Xavier Wheeler because he gets other people's shots.
Yeah.
And so you have makeshift lineups in there. One of the big pluses for Kentucky was the play of Jacob Toppin off the bench. He had 13 points in that first half. His energy, his athleticism, he was all over the place in the first half. 6 of 6 for those 13 points. But the rest of the Kentucky team went 6 of 30 from the field. Only 4 assists for Kentucky in the first half against this LSU defense that held them to 33% shooting. 11 of those points came off of LSU turnovers. LSU had 9 turnovers in that first half. And if LSU can clean up their turnovers and do a better job of finishing plays around the basket, I think LSU should be up more in this first half than 5 points.
Pretty balanced scoring for LSU. Murray with 6. Also Eason, a handful of guys with 5 as well. Reed starts this out on the baseline and throws it up with his left, too strong. And Jacob Toppin, who starts the second half, pulls it away.
And that's another finishing issue because Efton Reed had Ty Washington off on him, and he wound up taking almost a fadeaway jump hook instead of just bullying his way to the basket.
Sheboy turned the ball over for Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky has to establish Oscar Sheboy early in the second half.
Kentucky basketball. So a couple of turnovers to start this. You made the good point during the half to me. Kellen Grady's 0 for 7. Clearly that's on the shooter, but when you don't have the main assist guy getting you the ball in the right place, that's an impact, right?
It's a huge impact. Now all of a sudden Ty Washington, instead of hunting his shot, now has to be the primary ball handler. That takes him a little bit away from being a scorer and having that scorer's mentality. He's got to run the team.
Yep. Back-to-back turnovers for Kentucky. So the Wheeler impact is obvious.
Wheeler's the speed of this Kentucky team. He allows everybody else to get out and run without concern because he's got the ball taken care of.
Good defense that time, and it's a block by Toppin.
Toppin is just so athletic. He was backing up and still able to get off his feet and block that shot.
They get it down to Sheboy, had it deep, and it's Mintz. That's good. Good kick out by Sheboy for a Mintz 3.
Just a smart play by Oscar Sheboy to kick it out. He draws so much attention. And Mintz took that shot in rhythm because of the great pass by Sheboy.
Reed whacked Mintz there with another screen. A chance for Kentucky to grab the lead with a 3.
LSU cannot afford to settle for jump shots. They've got to get downhill and get to the basket. Then if they kick it out, then you've got a much better jumper.
Mintz ball fake. Grady. There you go. First one of the night. First field goal for Kellen Grady.
With Oscar Sheboy in the game drawing attention, then with that shot fake, all of a sudden help comes, and you've got Kellen Grady just drifting to that opposite corner. And that's a catch and shoot opportunity that he did not have in the first half.
Days left open. That's too strong, and the hustle. It goes out. Kentucky to be LSU ball.
All this was off a shot fake by Davion Mintz. He draws Darius Days over, Darius Days was in the corner, but you come off of Kellen Grady. There should never be a time when you close out to Kellen Grady. You have to be right with him all the time.
Joe Lindsay originally pointed LSU's way. It's Kentucky's basketball. Last hit by Reed to get out of bounds. Double team on Sheboy. Grady was open for a second. They didn't get it to him. Instead, it's Mintz again. They're hot from the baseline. That's the third 3 of this half. Mintz has got 2 of them. Kentucky's by 4.
Just getting the ball inside to Sheboy is such a great thing offensively for Kentucky. Draws 2 defenders, passes out, and then the penetration allows that shot by Mintz in the corner. 2 defenders, he dribbles out of it, and then that nice drive opened up that shot in the corner for Davion Mintz. Well, we miss you, Dickie V, and love you. Dick Vitale not only battling lymphoma, but right now his voice has given him some problems, so he hasn't been able to talk much, which I'm sure has given Lorraine a little bit of a break, but that's it. We want to hear him back.
Out of a timeout, Brandon Murray knocks one down, 39-37. They hit 4 threes in the first half. They've made 3 here in the second, and they're going to get Reed with a foul on Davion Mintz.
LSU needs to stay down on these little ball fakes and shot fakes that Kentucky's throwing at them, because Kentucky's able to get a piece of the paint, and that's allowing them to get into the paint and start spraying the ball. That was just a good drive by Davion Mintz, who's an excellent handler, transferred from Creighton, was the leading scorer for Kentucky last season, their leading assist guy as well.
72% free throw shooter knocks that down. Reed will go to the bench with 16:47 to go in the game with his 3rd foul.
Well, Kentucky's been much more focused in this second half, in large measure because of the presence of Oscar Sheboy on the court.
Sheboy, Jabari Smith, early candidates player of the year in the SEC as we're just underway with conference play.
Now Kentucky going to press a pressing team. So early on in this second half, LSU's been settling for jump shots. They've got to start getting downhill and get into the paint themselves.
Like that, Darius Days did it, and he couldn't get it to go, and Sheboy rips down a rebound.
Boy, finishing plays near the basket has been a problem for LSU all game long. They've had a number of short-range opportunities. They've just not been able to convert.
Kentucky 20 points in the paint, LSU only 12.
Kentucky going back to that little floppy set, but LSU is switching everything.
Sheboy finds Mintz. That one's off, and a really good box out that time. Eason on Sheboy, didn't get him close to the rim. Now he's got a three.
What a catch by Grady.
Tightrope to stay inbounds, and they'll reset.
Even that last shot, Eason was wide open, but it was off the first pass. So they really didn't make Kentucky guard. And when Kentucky runs that little set, the screeners just have to screen their own man because they're switching it.
Largest lead of the night for Kentucky, and Kellen Grady has figured into it with 2 threes after missing all 6 in the first half.
What is it about shooters once they see one go down?
Exactly.
Brady's seeing a bigger basket now.
Good take by Xavier Pinson.
Yeah, that's what LSU's got to do. They have to continue to attack the paint. And if you draw the defense, you kick it out. Those are good jump shots.
Different look for LSU this year. And Grady's got 3 in the second half.
Great baseline runner. Excellent screen by Jacob Toppin to free him up.
Eason, good pickoff by Ty Washington. And he's going to get fouled by Murray. Kentucky was brutal from deep in the first half. They were 1 of 11. They've hit 5 of them in the second half. And Kellen Grady's been in the middle of it all.
A lot of the credit needs to go to just having Oscar Sheboy on the floor, but Kellen Grady untracked and then moving without the ball. Great screen as Eason tried to go over the top. Toppin picked him off to give Grady the room he needed.
None of whom are quarterbacks. They got an offensive line coach, I think, who's leading them until Brian Kelly takes over next year.
No quarterbacks available that might run the wishbone.
Well, Kentucky's been on fire from the outside. It's been the difference in the second half as they have got themselves the largest lead. It's 8. Mintz, another 3. That one's off, and we're going to get a foul here. I think they're going to call it on Gaines.
Gaines got switched off onto Sheboy, had to try to block him out. And LSU needs to stay down on these ball fakes and shot fakes that Kentucky is throwing at them.
They called that on Tari Eason, Jay, not Gaines.
Nice switch by Wilkinson. He switched up to take something away.
Ball fake again. Good rebound in traffic that time by Murray, who may have tweaked his hamstring again. That's what caused him to miss the Auburn game. He warmed up, and in warm-ups, his hamstring gave him problems.
They need him out there. He's an excellent defender. He's got 3-point range, knocked down a couple of them already.
Knocks that one down, too, right over Jacob Toppin. 0 on 0.
He just knows how to play. Just a freshman, but he's not built like a freshman.
30 points that Kentucky scored, tied a season low for points and a half. That was the game against Notre Dame.
Immediate double team coming from the baseline side.
Five on the shot clock. Grady will take another and knock down another one right in front of his bench.
Just too easy. Just came for that handoff. And if you are not right with him, he's going to pull the trigger on that.
What a half for Kellen Grady, all the way now up to 13 points.
And even though that was not a fast-moving play, they got the ball inside to Sheboy. He drew a double team, then they reversed it and got what they wanted.
Gaines 3 right over Mintz. He didn't challenge him, and Cal looks at him and said, maybe a hand in the face. Again, no Xavier Wheeler. He went out with 16 minutes to go in the first half and has not returned after he ran into a hard screen by Efton Reed. So they're doing it without their point guard, one of the best assist men in the country tonight, against a great defensive team in LSU. And they get Gaines on the foul on Grady.
Yeah, Grady off that little handoff action, just trying to turn the corner. And Gaines is going to be an excellent defender. He looks to steal everything. But just off this handoff action, you've got to stay with him. He can't go under that. That's just not going to happen. He was expecting Fudge to be there right on the switch, but just a little bit slow getting there. And there's no way you can allow that much space to a shooter the caliber of Kellen Grady.
Milwaukee Wilkinson is now guarding Grady.
When Grady comes off Sheboy, they need to look for Sheboy. He can duck in, get the ball.
3 seconds, 2 on the shot clock. Mintz has to fire it. Did he even get it off? Rebound goes to LSU. Milwaukee Wilkinson, that's too strong. Easton went up, grabbed the offensive rebound, laid it up and in, and it'll go to the free throw line.
Great activity by Tari Eason. Had 23 points against Georgia Tech, 20 against Penn State. Nobody boxed him out. Goes up strong and finishes it with the foul.
House here on the night they renamed the court Dale Brown Court. Been in the works for many years for the longtime coach who gave a wonderful speech at halftime in front of many of his former players. 86 years young, looks terrific, sounds terrific. And as he said, I got the name on the court, but it's because of all the players that were there behind me. Shaquille O'Neal sent a video message. Of course, our colleague and the great pitcher and basketball player Ben McDonald on the basketball court as well to celebrate Dale Brown's night.
It was great to see all the former LSU players out on the floor supporting the great Dale Brown as he gets this honor.
LSU pressing now after the free throw made. They got a good double team here, and Kellen Grady immediately calls timeout. An energized LSU club after the free throw. 3-point game, 11:33 to go, and a 30-second timeout on the floor. Highlighted Stanley Roberts, who was on the floor. Rudy Macklin as well. But a big night for LSU basketball and certainly the Brown family.
I had a picture of that 1986 Final Four team. He had a team that went to the Final Four in '81 with Rudy Macklin. That '86 team had Don Redden and John Williams, Jose Vargas. That was Ricky Blanton. That was a heck of a team.
2 seconds and Grady's shot's no good. Going up hard was Toppin. It's going to stay Kentucky basketball.
Official saying it was knocked out of Toppin's hands. Boy, you have to get a body on Jacob Toppin. He has been everywhere, and you give him a run-up, and he was above the crowd.
It's a good call. It looked like it went off of Brandon Murray's hand there at the end. Crowd here is many of them on their feet, especially behind the basket as LSU tries to do what it's done all year and play terrific defense. As far as defensive efficiency goes, they're amongst the best in the country, giving up just 55 a game, and there is a near turnover, and it is.
Well, they force turnovers, they get deflections that long, and boy, LSU plays so hard on the defensive end.
Brandon Murray tries to take Toppin, spins in, tough pass in traffic, deflected away. Sheboy, good block. Days, wow. Going down hard was Brooks. Sheboy had it. He's going to go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. How about Keon Brooks flying in to grab an offensive rebound and keep it alive? Our first NBA Wednesday matchups of 2022 on ESPN on the app. Warriors and Mavericks at 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific, and then the Jazz and the Nuggets in the Mile High City. Warriors expecting to get playback to a team that is rolling along for Steve Kerr right now. Donovan Mitchell's just a highlight reel. We do that in college, and he's now doing that on a nightly basis in the NBA.
I remember when Donovan Mitchell was coming out of Louisville, I had spoken to Quinn Snyder, who was a college teammate of mine, and we were talking about Mitchell before the draft, and he was asking me what I thought. And Quinn said to me, I think he's Russell Westbrook. And he was right.
Yeah.
He's Russell Westbrook with a better shot.
What did you say?
I agree.
So you answered the question with a question. When he said, what do you think, Jay? You said, well, what do you think?
No, I told him what I thought, but he made the comparison to Westbrook,
yeah,
which I hadn't really thought about. Was he that sort of explosive athlete? And the answer is yes. He doesn't rebound it like Westbrook does.
She's way too strong. Curry, Clay, Donovan Mitchell. That's Wednesday. There's 2022 underway for the NBA as well. Good game, intense game, kind of an LSU defensive struggle, which they like.
It's going to be important for Kentucky to be organized when they inbound the ball. I think that last timeout against the pressure when Kellen Grady got trapped, I think they had the wrong guy inbounding the ball because it was after a free throw.
Kentucky has missed 8 free throws tonight. Lead is 3. Where does LSU go to get the points in the half-court offense?
They've got to get some movement. You're not going to get it off one action.
Darius Days, that's too strong, rattled around, and it's Sheboy who grabs it. Ty Washington, by the way, has left the game. He's on the end of the Kentucky bench, and they're looking at his leg. He was limping badly.
He might be cramping, not sure exactly what it is. But John Calipari talked to his team today and last night about making sure they stay hydrated. It's a little bit hotter in this building than they're used to.
Grady had 1 point. It was a free throw in the first half. He's been on fire, but he gave that one up to Sheboy, who missed. There's Ty Washington getting help. Easton, oh my gosh, he threw it up flat-footed, nearly got it to go. Sheboy, and a good job by Tari Easton to tie him up.
Ty Washington getting helped over to the bench. And I didn't notice anything during the game that he got hit. So the most likely thing is he's probably cramping. But that's yet another ball handler off the floor for Kentucky. And Washington, I think, had 4 assists, just 1 turnover. And he's had 5 rebounds in the game. He's played a mature floor game, having to fill in for Xavier Wheeler. But that now means Davion Mintz is going to have to be the primary handler, but it's going to have to be all 5 guys that help.
T and Toppin bringing that ball up, and Toppin gets it to the shooter Grady. Jacob Toppin, a high runner, no good. Kentucky got a little cold here. And Xavier Pinson, penetration blocked there by Sheboy.
Boy, that was a great block, but a terrific hesitation move.
Traveling call on Davion Mintz.
Pinson made a terrific hesitation move here to get by Kellen Grady, but that was just wiped away. It looked like it hit the bottom of the backboard first.
Washington still on the end of the bench and still needing help with his left leg. Calipari's going down there to check on him.
How many challenges is Kentucky going to face on the personnel side?
He's piecemealing this together for the last 8:48 if he can. Pinson the floater, that's no good. Sheboy starting to pile up those rebounds, and he's going to do it himself here. And it was deflected out of bounds by Mwani Wilkinson, but they say it was off Sheboy's hand.
It got deflected. That ball got deflected.
That was right in front of us, and it certainly looked like Mwani Wilkinson was the guy that deflected that ball out of bounds.
I don't know how an official misses that. That's a bad miss.
Damian Collins now on the floor. LSU has gone cold here from the field as well. Haven't scored in about 3 minutes.
Have to continue to look to drive it, get downhill.
Gains into the paint. And he dropped that off. Great catch by Reed in traffic. He didn't see that coming. He dropped it right over his shoulder.
That looked like Willie Mays in the Polo Grounds catching that. How did he catch that ball? Unless he felt it graze his hair. How could he see it?
Willie Mays never felt it graze his hair.
That is a fantastic catch. Just fantastic.
It sure is. And now Efton Reed, the freshman out of Richmond, Virginia. 5-star recruit. Played at IMG Academy, will shoot 2. He already sat on the back of the rim before it fell through. So no Ty Washington and no Xavier Wheeler. 2 of the key starting guards for Kentucky. It may be that way for the rest of the game. Washington, I think, has gone to the locker room.
Reed's not shot a ton of free throws this year. Only had 10 free throw attempts coming into this game. And that's the next step for him to be able to take the ball to the rim stronger, where he gets more foul calls.
Toppin, good pass to Shibwe. Good hands by Pinson. And this will stay with Kentucky. We'll take a timeout. 7:46 to go. Kentucky hurting right now, protecting a 2-point lead. Toppin and Grady each with 13 points to lead the way for Kentucky. Their 3-point shooting's been much improved in the second half, although will be challenged now even more so without Ty Washington. The LSU offense, very balanced scoring. Only Brandon Murray's in double figures. He's got 10. And you can see a whole host of them with 5 or more points. The 7-0 run over the last 4, 53, has made it a 2-point ball game.
Yeah, neither team shooting the ball well. Both teams under 40% from the field for the game. You know, this is not going to be a pretty win for whichever team is able to come out of this one. But you're going to have to fight to win it.
Shibwe's got a dozen rebounds, and he will get fouled as he handed it off to Collins.
And that's where Kentucky needs to continue to look. They run an action that is known throughout basketball as floppy action, where Kellen Grady's under the basket. He's got 2 screeners, one on each block to come off of. And when he comes off that action, I think they can get the ball inside and a duck into Shibwe. And they have to start looking in there even more.
Fouls may prove to be a story in the second half. Kentucky only has committed 2 of them, LSU with 6. Grady deep to Shibwe. That's going to be a foul before the shot.
Just an easy duck in. Or he makes it look easy because he's so big and strong. But that's difficult for LSU to guard because he's isolated down in the low post. And I think Kentucky needs to get the ball into Oscar Shibwe as often as they can, because he'll draw a double team. If he can't score, he can play out of it and pass out of it.
They're shooting the rest of the way. And the first one no good. Shibwe's had a hard time from the free throw line. The limited opportunities he's had. He's 0 for 3.
Well, only playing a couple minutes in the first half. It's tough to get a rhythm, even though he's played exclusively in the second half, hadn't come out.
Days, there's that high arcing 3. That's no good. But the rebound by Eason, Gaines wide open. That will rattle in. And LSU back on top.
No better time to shoot a 3 than after an offensive rebound. Kentucky's thinking about taking it the other way, and Gaines was wide open for that shot.
And the crowd starts to really get into it here. Shibwe left wide open. That's how you sit a crowd down, with a flush from Oscar Shibwe.
Just a miscommunication on a switch. Shibwe set a screen for Grady. He was wide open, just playing screener, scorer basketball.
Days not shy, knocked down a 3.
Well, he had Shibwe guarding him, and Shibwe gave him a little extra room.
Darius Days is 3 for 10. Mintz was falling out of bounds, and they'll call a timeout.
LSU really trying to ratchet up the physical pressure on Kentucky. They've caused them to call 2 timeouts in this second half. Well, Darius Days averages close to 15 points per game, 8 rebounds. He was 1 of 8 from 3 before this one, where Shibwe gave him just a little bit of room. And 1 for 8 doesn't matter. He was confident taking that one.
Ty Washington did come out of the locker room. He has not been inserted into the game, but he is back on that Kentucky bench.
Well, the 2 guys that LSU needs to be most concerned about are Kellen Grady coming off screens and then Oscar Shibwe ducking in.
Washington just ran for Coach Calipari, and he's now heading to the scorer's table. If he comes in, we'll see how long he stays in. He's dealing with a cramping left leg. 10 on the shot clock and a near turnover. The absence of the point guards.
That's part of it. But Gaines is just so active and so quick. I mean, he looks to make a steal on every defensive play. So you have to make a pass fake.
Washington has been inserted into the game, and he's playing with a noticeable limp. 5 on the shot clock. Toppin's going to have to fire it up. He gave a glance to the clock, and he does fire it up. Shibwe can't get it. Here comes LSU with a 2-point lead.
LSU is just so difficult to score upon. And when you have 5 guys with length and athleticism that can all switch, that is difficult to deal with.
Gaines, Murray, air ball. Look out. Here's Gaines' athleticism, knocks that away.
Read that like a defensive back.
Days. He missed, and Keon Brooks in traffic comes away with it.
Washington looks compromised out there. He doesn't look like he's running smoothly.
Not at all.
So really what LSU needs to do is attack him when they get the ball.
Mintz is ready to come back in. I assume it's for Washington. Grady has it with 8 on the shot clock. Toppin, that's off to the left, an air ball.
Just take it all the way to the basket. Turn the corner and go. That was just a dribble drive motion play.
It's not Washington who comes out. It was Jacob Toppin. So Ty Washington, keep an eye on number 3. He's playing with a left leg that's cramping badly. We'll see if Xavier Pinson tries to take him.
His eyes should be big. They need to go after Ty Washington.
He just switched on to Gaines.
Yeah, he is compromised right now, so drive him, make him guard.
(13-2) run has LSU up by 2 with 4.5 minutes to play in this one. Pinson will hit a 3. In and out. Loose ball, he picks it up. And a floater. That's good. Loose ball, 50-50 ball, won by LSU. And they're up by 4.
LSU has just been attacking Kentucky defensively. The question is, can Kellen Grady free himself up?
Boy, the quick hands. Gaines has been a difference maker. Eric Gaines can't play in the TaxAct Bowl later, but boy, would he be a terrific guy in a secondary. 56-52, under 4 to play at LSU. Feel like a stretch, Kevin, to say that we will be, given that it's 2 minutes after the hour. 11,808, largest attendance this year.
Really the big question, though, Ravi, is when are we going to have Seth Greenberg court?
I asked him that tonight.
Yeah, you could have it at Long Beach State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, or even Fairleigh Dickinson, the Harvard on the Hackensack.
That's right. And if worst comes to worst, just his driveway.
Oh, he's already got that.
He got that.
He had his own ceremony.
Loose hands there. Turnover for Grady out of a timeout. Kentucky led this game 50-41.
Yeah, Kentucky has not been able to buy one. And without Xavier Wheeler there, you've got not non-handlers, but guys who aren't used to handling as much. And Eric Gaines has made a big impact.
Days. Oh, that one nearly hit the roof here at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. 7-point lead, matching their largest of the game.
Well, he started 1 for 8 from 3, but he's 2 of his last 2. That's pretty good.
And they're doing a much better job on Grady. This second half started with him making 3 threes. He hasn't taken a shot in 10 minutes.
Well, Gaines wouldn't let him touch it. And look at that difficulty. He has over 2 defenders. You know, Kentucky has no direction on offense, in large measure because they don't have Wheeler out on the floor.
No Wheeler, no Washington. Would you like to see Sheboy touch it at least once every time down?
Got to be able to handle it to get it into him, though.
Yep.
I mean, if you could have reliable handling, you'd want to run Grady off of Sheboy and then have him duck in.
What a block. Gaines, that was Keon Brooks from behind with a big block.
Well, Darius Days was a little pick and stay when Gaines refused that screen. And you've got to make a guy choose. I mean, the key is force him into the screen and make him use it.
4 seconds on the shot clock as they inbounds the ball. And it's Eason with the drive. Got it to go. What a shot. Tari Eason, largest lead of the night for LSU.
That is one talented player, Tari Eason.
Toppin takes it, he gets bumped, and that's a foul on Murray. What a shot by Tari Eason.
And the funny part was he was fouled before he got there. I mean, he got 2 hands on the ball handler. That's an obvious foul that the officials just chose not to call, but Eason's probably glad they did because he was able to finish a circus shot at the bucket. But there's no question he was fouled. Boy, the free throw line has been a problem for Kentucky. At times, the wrong guy's shooting free throws, but you know, it's going to be tough to win a game when you're under 50% from the line.
All part of a 20-3 run for LSU with 2:20 to go. Eason will drive again, and he'll have to kick it back out. And they got time on their side.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush. You want to take what's available, but
Eason on Sheboy, helped by Ware. He got stuck up in the air. Pinson got in behind Grady, and Grady got the foul. Good moving without the ball by Xavier Pinson.
and good patience by Eason. You know, he had a lot of contact there. Another no call by the officials, but there was no panic on the part of Tari Eason. Well, we said, Ravi, that this was not going to be pretty, and it has not been. Right now, it's a lot prettier for LSU with this 8-point lead. Could make it 10 here with these free throws.
And a really good free throw shooter, best on the team. And how about Xavier Pinson, who had been 34 of 39, shooting 87%, missing the first.
Well, he transferred in from Missouri, where he averaged close to 14 points a game last year. He's from Chicago, went to Simeon High School that produced Derrick Rose, Jabari Parker,
oh my goodness,
Ben Wilson back in the day.
Yeah. So Mintz handles the ball, and that's going to be a foul on Murray. It's an unnecessary foul. It's going to send Mintz to the free throw line.
There's no question that was a foul. I mean, he was sideways almost with his back to the ball and made contact.
Talked about his leadership and how important he is, Jay. Just fouled out of the game with a $1:52 to go, really on a play that he didn't have to make.
Yeah, but you you applaud the effort. I mean, LSU has been all over the place defensively in this second half and really took control of the game in the last 5 or 6 minutes with their defensive intensity. Now, you know, you can make it's a huge factor that Xavier Wheeler's not on the floor. Ty Washington has been compromised and unable to play. But you have to give a lot of credit to LSU with how hard they played defensively down the stretch of this game.
And really throughout, this is a team that holds the opponents to 55 points a game. Here's Kentucky with a $1:52 to go and only 53. And they came in, Kentucky did, as one of the better offenses in the country, scoring over 83 a game.
And LSU's been a second half team all season long.
Yeah.
And they faced a lot of deficits throughout the course of the season. I mean, they were down to Louisiana Tech. I mean, you name it. They've Georgia Tech, they've trailed in a ton of their games.
LSU's loss to Auburn in their last game came after they started in an 18-1 hole. Way talked about the effort in the second half, which was strong, but they could not overcome Auburn, trying to go to 1-1 in the conference.
Now Kentucky bringing full court pressure. The Wildcats have to make something happen here. That's just the 4th foul in this second half for Kentucky, so they can take some risks before they put LSU on the line. So you don't want to just foul here. You want to go after the ball, go for steals.
Eason dribbled right through to Toppin and Grady. And they're not shooting yet. That's the 5th team foul on Kentucky. Down by 6. Again, no Xavier Wheeler. He went out with 16 minutes to go in the first half. So they've been without their point guard all game. Ty Washington has missed most of the second half with cramps.
There's no rush right now for LSU. Use the clock. With 10 seconds, get something going.
Bad pass. Ware was there. Who's it going to be?
Ball.
Yeah, it is. Ware went over there. Not a good pass from Xavier Pinson, as it was deflected off the hands of Mwani Wilkinson.
Yeah, that was an unnecessary pass. It's just a 2-possession game right now.
And looks like Joe Lindsay said we will take a look at it. Gives us a chance to remind everybody who's tuning in to watch the football game, the Tax Act bowl game between LSU and Kansas State will start on ESPN News as we got a minute 29 to go here.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any question about it, but anytime under 2 minutes, the coaches are going to ask for it because it basically gives them a free timeout.
As you look at the SEC, Jay, we've talked about all the good teams. Is there one that you think's ahead of is Auburn a little bit ahead of everybody at this stage? If you were to pick a favorite in the conference,
Auburn looks like the best team to me, especially now that they have Alan Flanagan back.
Yep.
You know, the key is going to be Auburn getting really good point guard play. But you know, I know you've seen a lot of them, but Jabari Smith is the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be surprised if he were the #1 overall pick. I mean, he's as close to as a skill level at 6'10" to Kevin Durant as I've seen. I mean, he's not Kevin Durant, I'm not saying that, but he's as close as I've seen.
This is a huge compliment. Alabama terrific at home, of course, Tennessee, Florida. There's Davion Mintz, that's a 3, that's good. Wow, right in the face of Xavier Pinson, and it's a ball game, 61-58.
What a shot by Mintz. Pinson switched up on him, but not enough. Boy, this is a huge possession right now for LSU.
Gaines with 10 on the shot clock. Guarded by Grady. Takes him, drops it off. That's a turnover. And Kentucky will have the ball with 51.8 to go.
Boy, it's the right thought, just not executed well. And Kentucky right now does not have to have a 3. You can attack the basket, get something going to the rim, and then if you kick it out for a 3, that's fine, but they don't have to have one.
Kentucky will deal with a terrific defense and now a crowd that is on its feet and screaming. Ware, who nearly turned it over, he was able to hang on to it.
Well, that was generous.
Mintz the penetration, lays it up and in over the rim. A 1-point game.
With 2 huge plays by Davion Mintz. Huge plays. Ware with the near travel, and then Mintz just blows right by Eason, gets between Eason and Days and is able to get that to go. That's a big-time finish by Davion Mintz.
6 foul. Next one will send LSU to the line. Eason's going to run out in a race with Sheboy. Look at the hustle. Sheboy. And here comes Davion Mintz right into us. The turnover. Eason with the flop.
What an unbelievable turn of events. Unbelievable.
There's another reach by Pinson. He will dunk it, and LSU will end up with a 5-point lead. 6 seconds to go. And the block and the game. LSU, what a flurry to the finish. Eason and Pinson on a wild exchange that had Davion Mintz in our laps to keep the ball alive, which led to the LSU big dunk. Boy, Sheboy with incredible hustle, and then the mistake to throw it to nobody. And as Mintz tried to keep the ball alive, it ended up in the hands of LSU. And a frenetic final seconds gives them the win.
Just a gritty, tough win for LSU. And Kentucky, even though the Wildcats lost this game, showed a lot of fight without Xavier Wheeler, and Ty Washington compromised with cramps. But LSU defensively turned up the heat late in the second half.
Our Capital One rewarding performance. What a wild finish to the end of this one. Watch Sheboy go and out-hustle Eason, and then he threw it away. And Mintz ended up literally in our laps. And then the flush from Tari Eason, who came up with some huge buckets down the stretch. LSU gets a big win. For Jay Billis, Scott Matthews, Ireland, our producer, I'm Carl Ravitch. It is now time for LSU, Kansas State, the TaxAct Bowl. Tom Hart, Tim Hasselbeck, and Kelsey Riggs.